4 o'clock. I'll call the meeting, Hanson Board of Health, today, Tuesday, October 17th, 2023, second floor hearing room. President Kevin Perkins, Arlene Diaz. This meeting's being recorded. First order of business is approve Board of Health minutes from September 19th, 2023. Arlene, did you?
I'll make a motion. Yeah, I did look them. I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes of the September 19th meeting.
Okay, I'll second that. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, second item on the agenda, Kim Bombardier, public health nurse interview. So this was something that we had posted, and I believe we only got one applicant. And for the interim, we had hired Ms. Bombardier as our interim public health nurse, and it appears that she's interested in being our permanent. Do we have the application?
Yes, I have it right now.
Okay, so this was submitted September 14th, and we haven't got any other applications.
Correct.
And she's currently helping us out doing that temporary. We'd already kind of went over everything with her qualifications and everything.
Right, and she's helping us with the Maven, which is just sort of one part of it.
Yep.
But yeah,
I don't have any questions that we didn't already cover with her previously.
I don't. So I'll make a motion that we hire Kim Bombardier as our public health nurse.
Permanent public health nurse, okay. I'll second that. All in favor? Aye.
Did you want to take your report?
So I got Maven access for the town, which
Yep.
is your disease network. So this is what came in September. Obviously, there was a lot there for the month that we went, but that's kind of what I do for Whitman.
Okay.
So obviously, if we set up something else, I would have that in the report. Hopefully,
Yes.
we will be able to do something.
Just sign them
Okay.
here.
All right, and
Just
then you
signature,
asked
and
me
then I can
for,
sign.
this is like a synopsis
Yes.
of,
Everything.
so this will tell you the current month, the previous month, the month, year to date,
And I think
last
this is
year.
mine without even looking.
Probably not.
No? No,
No,
I said that
here.
looks like lime. Lime?
Oh, lying.
Oh,
I thought you
that's
said lying.
No, I said that looks like lime,
It
even
is,
though
yeah.
I can't see what's over there.
Yes, lyme, definitely.
By the number.
Yeah, a lot of tick diseases, yeah. So I'll leave you with those. You
Okay.
can have those copies, and
You can find it
we
right
can
here.
figure out, more what you'd like me to do.
If we need more than that.
Yeah.
All right, great.
Thank
you. Thank you for helping out.
Just a simple question about,
Sure.
could you tell us how many Lyme disease cases there were?
So for the last month, for September,
September doesn't look like.
six were reported in September.
But
And
this
then,
is year to total.
Year to, what's that?
Month to
Year
year.
to date, 60.
60.
So
Since
going
January,
back 1
because
year.
I'm a
1 year.
conservation commissioner, I'm spending a lot of time on the trails, I'm curious.
Yeah. Yeah, obviously, Lyme does not get investigated, but other tick diseases we do follow up with, as people are a lot sicker with other ones, so.
Thank you.
Any questions ever, feel free.
All right, well, thank you for helping us out. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Next item we have is a well permit for 280 Liberty Street. We have an application for an irrigation well for residents for 280 Liberty Street. Well installer, West End Drilling, out of Plymouth.
I didn't look at that online to see where it was. Just looked at the application. Does it show where
So
it
it
is
looks
on the
like
plot line?
they're just on the assessor's map, they're showing a proposed location, and as we typically do, I'd like them to have a survey plan done just locating the well when it's complete, when it's actually installed,
Right.
just showing it's in compliance with setbacks.
Yep. Okay. So do you want to?
Is anyone here for this? 280 Liberty Street?
Doesn't look like it.
Okay. Yeah, I'll entertain a motion to approve the well permit for 280 Liberty Street.
Right, I'll make a motion that we accept 280 Liberty, approve 280 Liberty Street for
Okay.
irrigation well.
Okay, I'll second that motion. All in favor? Aye. Do you need us to sign down here on the bottom, Teresa?
Yes, please.
Next item on the agenda is Beverly, sorry, how do you pronounce the last name?
Kolak. I don't
Kolak?
think anybody's
Kolak,
here.
no one's here.
No.
Beverly Kolak, for yard waste removal for 30 Holmes Street.
Yeah. So her son came into the office with a letter that allowed him to take the yard waste to the transfer station. But the letter expired in 2016. She does have a sticker. I believe she's elderly. She does have a sticker. So we suggested that they use her car. I mean, there really is no need to have a letter if they already have a sticker and they can use the vehicle that they currently have. And we were questioning, well, what have you been doing for the past 7 years with all the yard waste? And he really didn't have an answer.
Okay, so it sounds like they're looking for the use of a vehicle that's not registered in the town.
Right, he lives in Taunton.
And he was aware that the meeting was today and we were gonna be discussing it.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yep. Yeah.
Sounds like it doesn't happen all the time.
Yeah.
Like maybe, like you said, maybe once a year, twice, every 3-4 years. It just doesn't sound like, you know, I would suggest that when they probably do use it, maybe come in for a letter from us or something, because
Well, there's no reason that, well,
just doesn't seem right.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't wanna, if it's something that's urgent, I don't wanna push them off till next meeting either. I mean, it's that time of year where people are gonna be cleaning up the yards and stuff. Do you wanna see if maybe we can put them on the next agenda if they're interested, and then maybe we could do like a one-time, like, allowance to let them use it once in the interim, just to, you know, they
Right.
can come see Gil and Teresa.
Because Teresa, I think, suggested that they use her car, but I don't know if there was a reason that they couldn't use her car. I don't know if she
Well,
got that
he
information.
has a truck, but the letter expired, it was way back in 2016.
I understand that, but why is he coming now looking for it?
That's what
Is it because she has a valid dump sticker? Why wouldn't they use her car? And if there's a reason they can't use her car, then I could see that he didn't
I
provide
mean, the
that.
No,
common
he
sense
didn't elaborate.
approach that a truck or something
Yeah.
is probably better for removing yard waste than a car.
I
it
do
is,
everything
but a
in
lot
my
of people
car.
don't, like, I don't have a truck, I would have to
I
use
don't
my
have a truck.
car.
Well, I mean, I don't know the specifics of it, they're not here.
See, that's what
Um,
we don't know, and he.
Right, but I mean, in the event that I don't wanna hold them up, that, would you be comfortable with allowing Gil
I
and
would
his
allow the
discretion
one
to-
time, yeah,
if they came in, you could give them a one-time,
a one time.
you know, a note or
use.
something to the
And then
transfer
if they
station
need
or what.
more, they're
They
gonna
can
need
come
to
back
come
in
back
front
to
of us
us.
next meeting.
Yes, I'd be fine with that.
Okay.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Alright. Next item is Don Howard for mosquito discussion. Mr. Howard, how are you?
Good, I think. No, anyway, we started up this new stormwater management committee for the sake that we have over 20 detention and retention areas, which you know about. And I'm here to talk about mosquitoes today. I showed that PowerPoint on Oak Colony Planning in Brockton, so that all 26 cities and towns in Plymouth County, noticed it. But one of the comments made to me at the time is, why don't you go see the Plymouth County Mosquito Control, which I did 3 weeks ago. I went down and talked with them. And they thought it was a great idea to put the detention and retention areas underground, for the simple fact, with the Triple E and the West Nile virus, and they don't even know about malaria or whether that's coming back around here or not. It'd be a good thing to do in the county. And why I'm here today is I talked with Gil a week or so ago. We had a meeting, and they're putting retention areas up on Spring Street. Well, if you put a retention area in, it's going to be open face, so you can do nothing but developing mosquitoes. I just kind of see the point of putting something in that you're going to create more mosquitoes rather than try to, get few of them. And I was just curious whether or not they had dug up there and found out where the water table was, the ground level, because to put in a retention area to make it work, working with the DEP, it has to be 11 feet from the surface to groundwater. And therefore, what that does is it gives you 7 feet for the water to go into the ground through these underground that I showed you last time I was here, the filter things built underground. But it leaves 7 feet for you to put in the sewage systems, which is ample because you're more than 4 feet off the bottom. But the bottom of the filter beds would be 4 feet off the water table, but still it would be higher than the retention area that's putting the water into the ground. I don't know if they're in the same area or what, and I was just curious whether or not, when I worked for 10 years with Earl Simmons in Hanover, when I was young, 19 years old, I was all over Plymouth County, digging 8-foot test holes to find the water table, and then you'd go off the side of that and dig a hole approximately where the base of the filter are being built, and if you got water that's within 4 feet of the top of the ground, the retention area is not going to work. And I'm just curious if the water table would they dug to the water table to see how much they had from the water table to the surface of the ground.
Yeah, I
And
believe.
that would be done by, well, did the agent observe the tests that were down there?
Is this to a specific site? Did I
The
miss?
Spring Street, he said?
Is that what you were asking, Mr.
Yeah, it's
Cushing.
Spring Street?
Cushing
Yeah, I
Trail.
mean, that was,
Right.
there was extensive soil testing done, over that whole site to my knowledge. At the time I was on the ZBA and I remember seeing that. But there was extensive test holes done over there to determine
Could you
groundwater.
tell me what the actual depth of the water table is in that area?
I'm
We
sure
have
we
the
can,
records.
I'm sure we can dig up all the
Yeah,
information
we
if you wanna look at it.
Would ZBA have the records?
It would be in Board of Health.
Yeah, we would have it.
We would
We have it too?
Yeah, we'd be happy to find it and go over it with you if you want.
Because I thought they had high groundwater
Yeah, I mean, everywhere you go, you find high
in
groundwater.
Hanson.
Well, most towns, but,
Because when I was on the Board of Health in Hanson back in the late 60s and 70s, that's one of the things we tried to do back then, but of course, I don't think they had the detention and retention areas back then. And it's just, I see it as shame if you build something and it's just gonna produce more mosquitoes, and the Board of Health is basically in charge of it.
So he can
To
look.
to a certain degree, Don, I mean, if you wanna look at the plans and stuff, I'll explain them to you. But the retention areas, here to stay for a while. Yes, they do generate mosquitoes, but there's a phenomenal, program in Massachusetts to control the mosquitoes. There's weekly testing, there's testing all over the state. And, the pesticides, they spray, I told you like 2 weeks ago, the planes went over, sprayed Great Cedar Swamp, Little Cedar Swamp, those were sprayed. And there's 7 species of mosquitoes in Massachusetts. And every species of mosquitoes in Massachusetts is tested. And it's done weekly. And there's thousands and thousands of tests done. If you want, I can give you a report of all the testing in some of the sites that they test for and the mosquitoes that they test for. So the surveillance in Massachusetts is quite phenomenal compared to other states. We've got a good program. The Department of Public Health has a program. They do a report every year. So it's well under control. The state's well aware of what's going on with the retention areas, and they do the Plymouth County Mosquito Control, as far as the local county, does a good job. And the state surveils all this stuff. They keep track of it all, and they've been tracking this stuff since 1939, and it's dropped. They've got great control of it. So, yes, maybe it's a better idea for retention areas, but what we have now is watch all the time. It's watched weekly. There's testing weekly. There's thousands and thousands of tests every week. So they do keep a close eye on it. And our mosquito control, Plymouth County does a good job, and the state watches all of it. So yes, maybe we can do a better job as far as retainage and retention and detention, but it's what we got now, it's best we can do at this time. You know, it takes money to do that, and, you know, but, it's a good job of mosquito control and surveillance is being done very well right now by the controls that we have in place. Yes, this could be a discussion for another time. I mean, you know, it takes a lot of planning for this stuff, a lot of engineering, and it starts, you know, when the land is raw with the planning board and that type of stuff. Yes, the Board of Health has control over certain things, but we don't have total control, and we have the areas we have to stick with.
Well, the Board of Health has control over every, because you can't build a house on a lot in Hanson unless you can't get a building permit. You have to come to the Board of Health.
Right.
And find out where the water table is.
Right.
To make sure that you can put in a leaching field 4 feet above the water.
Yeah.
Before you can get a building permit.
And that is done on every
well,
single lot.
There's a lot of homes in Mr. Amato in Hanson. That right now there's probably 18 or 20 detention or retention, whatever you want to call them, that have failed. They aren't working. And what they're doing is they're producing millions of mosquitoes. And that's why talking with Plymouth County Mosquito Control, they thought this was a great idea. And talking to you last week, well, when we had the water meeting, you said they put in the retention areas. Back in the early 60s, I worked on the Rockland side of the town line there, where the landfill is.
Yeah.
And Earl Simmons was friendly with Dana Nash, who had a plumbing business in Rockland. And I went up there with Earl Shoveldozer, and I dug out 2 very shallow pits. They were about 30 feet by 20 feet, 2 of them, so they could back up and dump his sewage from the septic from the trucks. Now, I know that didn't go on forever, but Rockland has sewage, so it disappeared. But I'm just worried about in future dates if something isn't taken care of it now, because all of the ones that are in the ground now aren't working properly, and there's no way that we can fix them, because we can't use tax money to repair them, because they're associations. And are the associations saving money that they can do it? I really think the things should be built initially with the developers or the contractors to put in the roads, put these systems in before they build any houses.
Mr. Howard, is there a specific property that has a failed retention basin that you're referring to? Or is there like specific properties or something that, I mean, just to make a general statement that all of them are failed?
I had Mr. Amato, he came down and picked me up in his car.
Sure.
And we drove up to Williams Way, and there's a retention area there on the right as we go in, right?
Yeah.
The pipe is approximately, the flow line of the pipe is approximately 5 feet below the road. And to the right of it, there's a little detention area full of cat nine tails, because it's been in there so long now that all the pores in the ground have plugged up and the water isn't running into the ground. And to the left of that, about 18 inches higher, there's a beautiful layer of stone that's approximately 30 feet in diameter that was put in to be the system to work with the pipe. Well, I asked them at the time, how does the water run from the flow line of the pipe here a foot higher to get into here? And they couldn't give me an answer. And that's the way it's working. And I'm sorry to say, some of these contractors or developers have come in and just done this, and the bond money that they took, that they had to put down to put in the system. In fact, the day I was up there when they were telling me this, they gave them back the bond money, so that the 2 contractors fled off, and there's nothing up there to try to correct that. I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 houses on Williams Way.
I mean, if there's a specific development or a specific site that we know has an issue, I would say let's start with first finding out who's responsible for maintaining that. and then we can move forward from there if there is actually an issue with maintenance, whether it be a town accepted way that the town needs to go out there and do a little bit of work to maintain some, or if it's a private owner or association
to
or
be honest with you, I
private
don't
property.
think nothing will be done because of the fact, the way they're constructed and when they were put in. I even had Joe Campbell came down to my house, and Joe took me around, and he showed me all the ones that he knew weren't working properly. I mean, they're just full of water and breeding mosquitoes. And I just can't see for the life of me why the board wants to keep building these things and not have them work.
But it sounds like your concern is, I understand with the mosquitoes breeding, but.
I worry about Hanson. I love Hanson.
No, I do too,
I
and I
lived here
understand.
for, I built my house in 1960 here in Hanson.
But I think if there's specific sites, I mean, we should look at getting those resolved and not necessarily just categorizing every retention basin as a failure. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think if there's specific sites that we know that have issues, we should probably work on getting those addressed with who the ownership is.
There's no way that we can afford to pay to have them done. They're in associations. We're just locked out of, I was a selectman for 10 years. There's no way that we can use taxpayers' money.
What association is responsible for Williams Way?
Well,
That's a private way?
Christopher Lane is. I think, what about, I can't think of the name, up off 58, there's a big development in there on the left up by the power lines.
Partridge Way.
Joe Campbell took me up there and showed me the ones up there that I work
Probably,
at.
is that Birch Bark?
And up on Main Street, there's some behind the restaurant there. What's the restaurant?
Meadowbrook?
Meadowbrook. As you go in that street, there's two big apartment buildings, and there's right between the buildings, down about the back ends of them, there's a pipe there, a 12-inch drain pipe, just sticking there out of the ground. And they've got this whole area that must be 190 feet by 80 feet, with a bank and all around it. It's a detention area.
Now, now when you say that they're not working correctly, and who made that determination?
Well, this one here is working for the simple fact it's so big that every time you have a lot of water, it just runs in there. You'd have to go see it to see what I'm talking about, really. I don't know, it's just, I'm disappointed in some of the ways that some of these have been built in town.
But if they were designed and installed, and that's how they're supposed to function, it may not appear to the average person that that's
why
how they're
aren't they
supposed
working?
to. Again,
Why isn't the water running out of them?
so is that something that you spoke with the planning board? Did they have did they have a engineer or someone that they contracted with to actually go and look at these sites to see that?
Then again, it's money.
Right, but I mean, to make a determination, it sounds like it's people's opinion that they're not working correctly and not someone of expertise. Is that correct?
Well, I don't know how, I don't know. I'm just really disappointed in the fact that they were even installed to begin with.
That's part of what was done at the time. I mean, now, a lot of these places under the Stormwater Management Act with
So I
highway.
can't hear you, Phil.
Under the Stormwater Management Act with highway has worked on a couple of those basins.
Well, they changed the Stormwater Act because of the fact that now they want the water to go back into the ground, and they don't want you to empty it into a brook, stream, or river. Because they found in years beforehand, they made a mistake, even all over the country. I mean, all these super highways they built, they drained swamps and everything else, which they shouldn't have done, because of the water tables in some of those places are drying up. And so if you aren't putting the water back into the ground, you're gonna have the same thing around here.
Have you talked to Highway? I mean, they're in charge.
Yeah, I've talked to Highway. In
So
fact,
maybe convert them
David and
Highway.
I met with the administrator, with Mr. what's his name?
Jameson Shop.
Jameson, And Jameson's supposed to be coming to our meetings, and he's never been to any of them. And, I'm betwixt and between. Should we just dissolve the committee and give up? Or should we just continue to try to get to work? But the thing about it is you have to work with somebody that's associated with it. And the Board of Health is associated with it. I mean, you are the people that give permission to build homes, and so that the water table has to be at a certain level to put in sewage systems, right? And you have to have the water that run into the ground be able to run into the ground and not be affiliated with the sewage systems.
I mean, again, to those comments, is there a specific site that you're questioning the water table determination?
Well, one of them I'll mention is Spring Street, one of them.
Well, I mean, like we said, I mean, all those test holes and logs are all in the Board of Health. Any property you want to see, you're more than welcome to come by and look at them.
They're in the office?
They are.
Yeah.
Everything, any perk test that's done.
Well, it's hard for me to see, to be honest with you, but maybe I will bring my magnifier up and spend an afternoon in the office, I don't know.
Yeah, any property that's been worked on, any test hole that's been dug, it's all been documented. We have all that. Anything that you want to see that may not seem right to you, you're more than happy to come by and look at it.
My nephew, Chris Howard, who lives on Pennsylvania Avenue, he's got 2 sump pumps in his house. The water table's only down about 32 inches from his driveway. You look at his land, how do you get 4 feet in the property to put in a leaching field? It doesn't work. The septic tank, I mean, the sewage should be sticking way out of the ground, and that just ruins the eyeball of the property.
Well, if you want to look at some of these addresses, Don, if you want to look at some of these addresses, just give me a call. Maybe I'll show you the plans.
Well, I tried to do it last time with you, and you raced around and got rid of me, so I don't know.
Don, I taught you so. If you want to look at some of these things, come into the office. I'll try to make some time. You look at how all the plans are engineered. They're all perk tests. It's not just us that says, hey, you can build this house. It takes a whole department.
I don't know. What do you think, Dave?
I don't have a dog in that fight.
Are you another member of the Drainage Committee?
I'm on drainage, I'm on conservation.
He's on conservation, and he's also a member of the new drainage committee that we tried to get one. We're trying to get something that's going to work and have the developers pay for it initially to put it in. And therefore, there's 2 2,000-gallon tanks, as I told you before, in the street. And it has 3 chambers in it. And therefore the water, and it has to be at 3 feet down to cover the 1 foot pipe that comes from your catch basins and manholes that you have in the street for drainage. So in a total, it makes it you have to have it 11 feet above the water table. And then afterwards, I don't know, I gave you a thing, I should have brought another one. But talking with Phil Clements and Frank, there's no way to check these underground systems. So what I did is I went down and I figured out that you could buy 4-foot sections by 2 feet down to that septic tank place on 53 in Pembroke, that you could put in a 4-foot catch basin, so we say, in between the tank and these leaching fields. Put the base of it at the base of the leaching field at the bottom, and put a filter on it, and use a 1/2-inch steel wire mesh to hold it down, because you can clean these tanks out so quick. I worked for Jack Hoadley. I've run them. If you had 10 rows or 10 systems in the ground today with 10 tanks, all you have to do to clean them, to keep out the silt, is pump the water on the lawn, because the water, it settles down so it's clear water. Then you can keep these tanks clean by using a vacuum truck. And this is a new system that can be done nowadays. Brockton has one, Kingston has one, Mansfield has one, Hoadley has one, that I used to run. And when I worked for Hoadley, we worked in one night at Summit Tunnel, cleaning the drains out there. Now I know Boston's got vacuum trucks because they do such a good job. But you could do 10 tanks in a day easy, and it wouldn't cost that much for maintaining them. This is what I'm getting
But the
at.
truck is almost $1 million now, Don.
Do what?
The truck is almost $1 million now for that truck.
I can't hear
The
you.
truck
said
is
the
almost
truck.
$1 million.
The truck
I
is
know,
million,
very
yeah.
expensive.
Very expensive.
And when I had the
So-
one Hoadley, Jack had me go over to Brockton because they had a line plugged up from a Chinese restaurant. And I had the truck over there. And to show them what a vacuum truck did, and it went from Campfellow Street to Main Street. It had about an inch of that concrete, not concrete, but the grease from the restaurant. We ran the hose up there, cleaned it out, vacuumed it out, and it looked like a table over there. It was so clean. And the next we knew, Brockton they'd got a vacuum truck now because they work so excellent. And I'm sure if we had enough of them in town, working with other towns that might have one, you could hire it for the day. If you had 10 tanks or something in the ground, then you could do them all in one day.
Can I put some context in this? The town meeting in May voted to require the planning board to consider requiring underground detention areas going forward. Not to require them, but to
Consider it.
There's no state law requiring underground detention, and site conditions and the engineering is what determines whether they go underground or not. So there's no rule that says you can't do it, and there's also no law that says you have to do it. And so that's why we don't have them underground. So while it seems like a good idea, there really isn't any requirement to do it. So I'm just trying to put some context.
Yeah, I know, there isn't. And I'm just trying to do something that.
But I think, Don, you've got to start in the beginning with the planning board subdivision control and get them on board. Yes, the Board of Health, we do have bylaws on certain things as far as drainage, but we don't have total control of it. Yes, building a house, yes, you have to meet Title V requirements and all that. Yes, and every engineer does their due diligence in doing that. So I think, going back to planning board subdivision control law, you got to go there and then go down the line, the highway, and because what you're talking, yeah, it's a good idea, but it's not feasible in the town of Hanson financially. We're having a hard time even controlling what we do have. So, I think stay with the planning board. It's all in subdivision control. You've got subdivision control bylaws and stuff. So, I hear you, Don, but it's a long road.
So is there anything else you wanted to add to that?
No, I got,
Well, I was
He's
trying to put
asking
some context
Dave.
into the conversation.
Yeah, no, we appreciate it.
But we might want them, but we can't make the
yeah,
developer
but
put them in.
you control whether or not you can build a sewer system for a lot,
We do,
right?
we do.
But that's
Which-
different from the retention.
Which we do within the
We don't have
the
bylaws to
regulations
cover
of the
that.
state.
Well, you could do it and have DEP come out and see what's going on here. I mean, there's no reason why you, the Board of Health, can't mandatory to have it done in Hanson. Because it hasn't been done before. The only reason they're up on East Washington Street is because before I was even a selectman, he was both putting in that development. In fact, there was a water, but you couldn't even build a house because you had to put wells in.
I think what it comes down to is whether it's feasible or not, if the site supports that, and I think in this case, a lot of sites probably
I
don't
think you
support
people
that.
got more power than you think you do. I really do, because Hanson has its own government. We have our 5 selectmen, and then we have our different boards that work together and do what's right for the town. And I think I know we could force the town to. Cause now somebody puts in a development now, puts in a 2-family house, and they say, oh yeah, it's gonna be 40B. Oh, the state says, oh good, put it in. What good does that do?
Well, there is a vote on to have planning consider it the next time they consider the subdivision laws for the town.
So they would be the ones to make
Yeah,
changes.
we've got Ritters, and we've got the other one on Main Street. To be honest with you,
Those are already approved on.
I know they are approved, but they're also in material that I'm almost positive they could have underground retention areas there.
But we didn't have laws in place when they were approved.
I know that.
So that we
I
can't
know
go back
that.
and say to them now, you have to do this. We don't have a bylaw now that says that they have to do it, so.
Nor would it really be feasible for a lot of these sites.
I just felt
Right,
working through you, the Board of Health, that we could have more power, that's all.
I don't think it's a matter of power, Don. I think it just really comes down to
Well, it's
can
doing
the site,
something right for our own town.
but can the site support it? And I think a lot of times it can't. That's what I think it comes down to. It's if the site can support to do what you're asking, and to hold someone to that standard where it's not feasible is just out of the question, I think.
Hanson is an island between two gigantic swamps.
Hanson is lucky.
We got two
We
gigantic
got
swamps,
two
okay?
big
We're an island,
water things.
you know, so.
We don't have
You
to
know,
worry about
I
drinking
know,
water.
I know you're dedicated to this, you're dedicated to the town of Hanson, like the rest of us are all dedicated to the town of Hanson.
I
We're doing
know.
our best jobs.
I know, we just have
I've
to
been on
work
this board my
together.
whole life, you know, I've been part of Hanson my whole life. And I agree with some of the things you do, but we're an island between two great swamps. And some of this stuff is just not feasible
We're on
in this
two
town.
watersheds,
Not to
North
keep
River
on
and
this discussion,
Mhm.
going back and forth, but, you know, this has its place in time, and I think the place is, with the planning board, get some things put together as far as ideas and whatnot. And I'm gonna go off that subject here a little bit. You talk about the East Washington Street project there, with the tanks in the ground. Now, if you drive by that field that's set up there, you'll see that homeowner has planted all kinds of trees in that field. Now, make a point to have someone driving by there, stop and take a look. That whole area is all planted with trees and birch trees and everything, so they don't care about that retention area. It's a homeowners association, am I correct? So maybe discuss that with him, you know, why.
Well, the one by David Nagel's house is out of control.
I'm
too.
talking about where it's the actual
Christopher.
infiltration field,
Yeah.
Christopher Lane. The actual infiltration field, that homeowner that owns that property has now planted all kinds of trees and islands and plantings and everything. So why didn't whoever the homeowners association knew that system was there, stop it? So,
I think if we want to try to do something productive, Don, I mean, I think it sounds like we should, you know, get a professional opinion. If there's concerns that some of these systems are failed or not functioning how they should be, I think we should maybe get a professional opinion on if they aren't. And if they're not, then let's try to maintain them and correct them. And not necessarily just try to solve our issues with future projects.
Well, I had John Hobble at my house a year or so ago, and he gave me all the new regulations in the stormwater management. And we went down and we saw Spring Street and looked at it and shook his head. So all he said to me was, good luck in trying to get something done there, because the water table's so high. So anyway, that's all I'm here for. I'm trying to help the town, and people don't think so. I'm an old man. I had to go to the doctors today, and I thank you for your patience.
always, Don.
All right, Don, well, thank you for coming
I don't know what
in.
we're gonna do, Dave.
Don, if there's, again, if there's a specific, site that you wanna see soil testing data.
There's not a specific site. I'm talking about the whole of Hanson.
No, I understand, but you referenced a few specific properties that if you have
They're not
concerns
working
about,
properly.
soil
All you
testing,
have
water
to do
table
is
determination,
Pick
all
me
those
up and we
laws.
can ride around town and I can show them to you.
But what I'm saying is the data that's in the Board of Health office from when all those test holes were conducted on any site you want in Hanson, you're more than welcome to come by and look at that and see where water table is determined by a soil evaluator.
Well, the thing that really bothered me was the day that I was over on Williams Way, I forget when it was, 2007, 8. No, I was a selectman, so it must have been after 2008. I was over there the day the planning board was there, the attorney was there, the 2 contractors were there, the engineer was there, and they told me the water was gonna run uphill into the thing there. And I went over to my truck, I opened the tailgate, and I took out it's a 16-foot piece of chain I had with a grab hook on one on the other. And I pulled it out and dropped it onto the ground. And as I was walking to the catch basin where they were, where it runs into the leaching field there, I says, water is just like a chain. I says, it goes downhill, and I'm dragging it down the street. And I got down to the catch basin, and I dropped the hook on the catch basin, and I says, have you ever tried to take a chain and push it uphill? And I picked up my chain, put it in the truck, and drove off, because I knew they were going to pass it and give their money back. Now we can't do anything to fix it anyway.
Yeah.
All right?
All
All
right.
right, Don,
thank
we'll be
you, Don.
talking.
I'm ready. I'm upset.
Okay.
So,
Is there anything more from anyone on discussion on that? No. Nobody else? Alright, we'll move on.
I don't know where to go there.
The next item is, we have septic plans. First one, we have 69 Arlene Street, Webby Engineering.
Joe Webby, Webby Engineering.
Can I have the cards, sir? Thank you.
This is a septic upgrade where the leaching field has failed. It's currently a tank and pump chamber system, and we're proposing to rip up the existing leaching field and replace it with a new leaching field. We have the entire field is going to be wrapped with a barrier, 45 mil barrier, and on the south side we're proposing a stone-lined swale that'll be an interceptor trench in case any surface water comes. It'll be directed towards the street. Also, there's an existing retaining wall there that we're going to utilize. But ultimately, what we're asking the board for is a couple of upgrades. One of them is to have the leaching field 6 feet from the foundation. One is to have it 6 feet from the neighbor's property line, which we have notified that abutter.
I'm here.
And I'm is here. And we also did a sieve analysis, and we have limited area to do our 5-foot R&R, so we're requesting a 2-foot remove and replace. So basically, we're going to take out the old system and then rebuild it in the same spot.
Okay.
Joe, you're gonna continue the driveway over that system?
No,
You got scheduled for it.
I see the existing, yeah.
Yeah, the existing one is under the driveway, which has never been done in the first place.
Yeah, we moved it back
Right.
to get it out of the driveway, but this is still a field that's H20 loading. You know, the tanks are both behind the house.
I don't have any questions. Looks like it was revised for comments on 1010.
Yeah. It went from twice.
Not much else you can do, it's a good system, so.
Do we have any abutters here for this that wish to comment?
I wanna thank you
If you could
for
just
working with Alan to put in that,
if you could just state your name and address. just
Lisa
so-
Rono,
Thank you.
75
Thank you.
Arlene Street. When they originally put in this, system back in '06, I believe, my whole entire yard and basement flooded out, okay? That is why I am here today, because it was not done properly in the first place. So I had Alan, thank you, help me work with Webby to put in that catch, what is it called?
Interceptor trench.
Interceptor trench to prevent this from happening again, because I just spent $13,000 to put a lot in my basement is now encapsized, and I also had a $1,500 French drain put in when this happened. The retaining wall, I wanted to ask you, Alan had said it was done after the fact, but it was done after the fact. My dad's on the Board of Health in Kingston. He came over, and they put that retaining wall up, but it's cement block, so it's really not doing anything.
Right, it's a wall.
So,
Yeah.
my question is, what happens if something happens to my yard again? Who's responsible, are you or Greg?
Well, I'm certainly not gonna
'Cause I had
take
to-
responsibility for anything, but
I
yeah,
had to
yeah.
pay out of my pocket.
Yeah.
The last time this place flooded my yard and basement.
Well,
Was it flooding due to surface runoff, or was it flooding due to the system being in failure?
Surface runoff. All the sand, everything came in my yard when they were doing it.
When they were building it?
Yeah.
Yeah, they just must have got a bad storm when
we
they
are
were building it.
proposing to put a silt sock up
Yeah,
during
so-
construction, so that's,
Until the wall's completed?
well, the wall is already there.
Oh,
but
okay.
until
Wall's
the-
here.
until the whole
Oh, I thought
septic
just a
is
portion of it was,
only a portion of it's there, but I don't,
Assistant.
I'd like them to redo it.
This is
before
the
you
reason
own
for the
wall.
intersection.
She's saying that
correct?
this
Right,
is the
that's correct.
one that's made of concrete, it's not really doing anything.
It
So the-
isn't really, it's a
so the
cement
drain is
block.
gonna be on the perimeter of the wall? The drain?
The drain is gonna be on the, right, between the leaching field and the wall.
And the wall?
Yeah, and
at the base
we've
of the wall.
extended it quite a way back, so to intercept any water coming.
To the rear of the
And we have
property?
it sloping towards the street. We can't slope it towards the back, you can see.
Okay, it's
there's a little bit of
picking up
wetland.
the rear corner and it's sloping towards the street?
Yes.
Okay.
Is it already draining to the street now? Currently?
I don't know what's out there, but if everything flows towards the pond.
Well, look at the elevations. like,
Well,
it's
they
drained
wouldn't be,
to
it
the
wouldn't
street,
be
so.
draining in the behind, because that neighbor would be all over you.
Well,
That
yeah,
doesn't surprise
there is
me.
a little puddle, a little vegetated wetland puddle in the backyard.
Right, yeah.
I did have discussions with that neighbor when we did the one just next to, immediately on your other side.
Yes,
And,
exactly.
you know, and he basically said, as long as I don't get any more water, I'm fine, and we have everything going the other way. And, we, obviously, Alan Diaz knows more about all this stuff than any of us in this room. Yeah, and it's gonna work.
To a certain degree.
Yeah. To a certain degree. About septic system.
Alright, but as far as, your request for this plan to be approved, that you've requested under maximum feasible compliance, you're looking for soil absorption system to be 6 feet from the property line instead of 10, which is a normal compliancy. Same with,
3 from 4 to 3.
you're looking for a 3-foot separation to groundwater instead of 4, and then you're looking for 6 feet from the cellar wall of the dwelling that this serves, instead of the 10 required. And sieve analysis, and then a 2-foot R&R instead of a 5, because obviously you'd be into the retaining wall if you were doing that, and you'd be tearing the wall out by the time you're done. I don't see any concerns with what they're requesting for waivers as far as the drainage aspect of it. I mean, I can't really comment on it. I mean, it looks good to me, but that's, again, just my opinion. I'm not a professional. But, I mean, it looks like they made an effort to try to mitigate that for you.
Yes, they did. Thank you.
Do you have
Oh,
any,
you're welcome.
do you have any
I don't have
questions?
any other questions, no.
No problem.
Is there anyone else here for this?
I think I know more than Greg does, though. I had all these plans and everything, I went over to him.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh.
Is there anybody else here for this? No?
Just,
Okay.
Thank
Do you
you.
want to make a motion?
yeah, where's the thing? We'll just leave that
Hang
for
on,
now.
we just-
Okay. I'll make a motion that we approve the plans with,
As proposed.
as proposed for 69 Arlene Street.
Okay, and I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Nice meeting you.
Thank you. Thank you.
You have one more, I think, after this.
Yeah, you do have one more.
Don't go anywhere. Not so quick. Is it, oh yeah, yours is
My son
401
needs-
Brook?
Yes,
Yes.
On the construction permit, correct?
yes. What's the matter again? I'd have to look at it.
I'll try to speak with you on the phone and we can
Yeah.
talk about
Absolutely.
Expectations.
Yes.
What you like.
Your invoices?
She sent two, right?
I have 1, 2, and 3.
Okay, I was gonna say, with the limited hours, do you wanna do it once a month? Is that easier?
Yeah, that's fine.
And we'll do it before the next
That's
meeting?
fine, that's
Right.
fine, yeah.
You work that out with the boss.
Yeah, all right. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so the next, next
401.
up, we have 401 Brook Street for a septic repair plan, also proposed, designed by Web Engineering.
No, I got it.
You want this
I got
one
it.
back?
I got it.
New one.
But I'll bring it back.
We have in
Don't
front
give
of
it to
us
us.
repair of septic design for 401 Brook Street. It's a 3-bedroom system.
This is a good plan too.
Yes, this is 4 feet from the existing water line instead of 10.
10 foot required instead of the 10 required.
Yep, and it looks like
Six,
it's
there's
sleeved.
another six.
Water line to be sleeved within 10 feet and then allow the use of sieve.
So,
Currently, again, Joe Webby, Webby Engineering, this is a septic repair. Currently, the existing leaching field is right here. We're gonna propose to put a new tank in, and there's a couple of big pieces of large boulders on the site, and the water line cuts right across the driveway like that. So we're proposing to sleeve the water line and then just put the system in. It basically will be rerouting that a little bit.
So you're basically gonna pump the existing tank, remove it, put the new tank in approximately the same location, still meeting the 10-foot setback off the foundation. And then you're gonna abandon the old leaching area and then install a new leaching area between the driveway and the existing leaching area.
Yes,
And the water line will be sleeved within 10 feet of that leaching area.
or moved, one or the other.
Correct. Either relocated or sleeved as required, and you're looking for a sieve analysis.
Okay.
And this is out of conservation's jurisdiction, it looks like?
Yes,
They filed.
we filed
You
a
did.
Blanket permit.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it looks like you're out of it, but close. Right at the 100 there.
I see the other paperwork, that's what it is. Is this a property that came before us before?
401 Brook Street, that, I believe it is.
Yeah, there was
It's
an
401
issue
Brook
with
Street,
it.
that was, I believe there was a Title V inspection
Yes.
done, and then it was.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
I thought
Same
they were,
property.
was that one with, did it 2 buildings though?
No, that was.
Or is that another one?
That
No,
was
this
one
one
that
just
was
says one?
done by,
Okay.
I believe, the individual that we
Mhm.
suspended
The
their license.
inspector,
in.
yes, yes, okay.
Yes.
Okay, I knew that this had come before us before. Okay, so, all right.
Did we have any review comments on this?
No. Came back clean.
Wow.
Got an A?
You got an A.
Where's the gold star?
First time?
All right.
We'll have to get him one.
I don't have any other
Do you have any
questions.
questions?
Do you?
I will make a motion that we accept the plans as proposed for 401 Brook Street.
Okay, I'll second that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Now you're allowed to leave.
Have a good night.
Bye, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Did you sign it?
Not yet. Yeah.
Why don't you give them everything?
All right. What do we got next? This must be you guys.
485 Liberty Street.
We're gonna.
Must
This is what we
be.
saved all the extra time for at the end of the meeting. All right. So next up we have septic application for 485 Liberty Street, submitted by Merrill Engineering.
Good evening.
How you doing?
My name is Dana Altobello with Merrill Engineers and Land Surveyors. I'm here with Carlos Resendez from Cadet Enterprises. He's with the applicant. This project, as you mentioned, is located at 485 Liberty Street, which is approximately directly across the street from County Road, which comes in kind of directly across from it. The property is located within a Zone 2 to a public water supply, and is approximately comprised of about 1.31 acres. As you can see, there are wetlands in the rear portion of the property, as shown here in blue. These wetland resource areas were delineated by Brad Holmes of Environmental Consulting and Restoration in August of 2021. We have shown the 100-foot buffer in yellow here, as well as the 50-foot buffer, which is also in yellow. The site currently contains, as you can see, a Dunkin' Donuts building with an associated drive-through parking area and other associated utility connections off of Liberty Street. Currently, there's an existing 34-foot long by 50-foot wide leaching area approximately in this area on the site, along with an existing 3,500 gallon dual compartment septic tank and a 2,000 gallon grease trap, which is located in this area. This is a 3,500 gallon septic tank in this area. The system was installed, the current system was installed in January of 1999, so it's approximately 24 years old. It's been functioning fairly well, but it is in failure at this point. So the applicant's looking to replace that system. Basically, the existing septic system will be removed and replaced with a similar septic system in approximately the same location, using similar materials as to what's out there currently. The existing tanks will be reviewed just to ensure that they're still basically they're in good condition, they're leaking, that they're structurally intact, and if possible, we'd like to retain those just to keep the impact to the parking lot down. Due to the limited space on the property, we have requested that the use of the sieve analysis from 1999 be used, as well as the soil testing results from 1999. Just there's really everything's paved back here. There's no exposed soil to really do any soil testing in this area. In order to construct the system as it was originally constructed and designed back in 1999, we do need to request 2 local upgrade approvals, one of them being the use of the existing soils testing, which includes the use of a sieve analysis that was used back in 1999, and the other is to request the reduction of 12 inches from the separation of groundwater required of 4 feet by Title V down to 3 feet, which was granted as well back in 1999. This allows us to keep the parking area at essentially the same elevation it is now. With the close proximity of the building, it would be very difficult to come up 1 foot higher, keep cars in there with parking, access.
The drive-through goes right over that, right?
Yes, that's correct. Okay. So the drive-through kind of comes back in this area and loops around here, heads along the side of the building over there. So with the reduction of 12 inches, that allows us to maintain the existing elevations out there, the existing drainage patterns, which basically kind of head to the back of the site. Basically, all the existing proposed work, in the existing system and all the proposed work are within existing paved areas. We have been able to slide the system about 4 feet further from the BBW, so we're able to get a little bit further from the conservation resource areas. We have been to the Conservation Commission, and they did issue an order of conditions back on September 25th of 2023. I think that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, we'd be happy to answer them.
I don't have any questions, just something we don't see often, that's all. Not to say that you can't do it.
It doesn't look like there's room to do much of anything else.
There's not much room. I mean, realistically, it's not going to move, and to disturb the business would kind of be impractical.
Right.
To do soil testing. And of course, when you do a bottom hole inspection or anything, that if something's not what you think it is, obviously you're going to readjust that in the field.
Absolutely, and as I mentioned, it has been functioning. It's the same system. It has been functioning for about 24 years. So it seems like it's it seems to be adequately designed. Back in 1999, so we kind of maintain that. I did check the water meter records, and it's well below what's designed. It's I think the daily flow is about 56 gallons per day, about 58.6 gallons per day. Multiply that by 200, you end up with about 118 gallons per day, and we're designing for quite a bit more than that.
Yes,
1,000.
So
right.
That's probably why it's functioning for so long. Usually we have troubles with the
cream,
the Dunkin' Donuts and the cream and everything, but to get 20 years out of a system is pretty good.
Okay. Yeah, and I mean, there's no increase in design flow here. It's just serving the existing use. I don't have any questions or concerns, other than stuff that was done back in the 90s. Again, if if it's something that's not what you think it is, once you get into it, obviously, you know, you'll readjust that accordingly.
Sure, yeah, definitely.
Okay. It's 485, right?
Yes.
I'll make a motion that we accept the plans for 485 Liberty Street.
I'll second.
Are written on the plan.
I'll second that. All in favor? Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Do you have a start date on that at all, as far as?
Yes, October 29th should be a Sunday. We're gonna post Sunday around 1 o'clock in the afternoon, 3-week remodel.
Okay.
So middle of November, if everything goes well, before Thanksgiving.
Okay, sounds good then.
Have to stock up on the pumpkin stuff. Get all that in.
You better advertise. We're closing. Come get your pumpkin stuff now.
1120 Main Street.
You'll redirect it. All right.
Take care.
Bye, thank you.
Okay, next item, old unfinished business. We have transfer station on there. Gil, if you want to just give us a brief update on the transfer station.
It's doing pretty good. I mean, we had a equipment breakdown yesterday. It's repaired as of today. System break.
What time was it repaired? Because I was up there at 1. No, I was there at 2 o'clock, and the guy was waiting for the part.
You know, the power's coming down from Westboro.
Yes.
So I should look at my phone just to make sure it definitely is finished totally. Because they said they were going to get it done today. So.
Yeah, because Chris said the guy was. I didn't see the guy. I saw the truck. He said he was waiting for the part.
So.
Well, I'm glad to see that, you know, they're quick to respond and we have a good point of contact there.
Which is what I said to Chris. Do you know, a couple of years ago, you would have called and it would have taken 3 weeks to a month to get him to come and fix it.
Yeah, there's been a big change as far as that.
But it's a new company, right?
Yep, it's new, big change, and they're more service orientated, and it's a transfer station, and they, you know, they serve.
It's their equipment. We're paying a lot of money to rent.
But, other than that, I still haven't. Still trying to get a price on cutting all those trees down, all the sumac and stuff that's growing up around everything. So, hopefully get it done probably once these get on the ground. Get a better picture of everything that should be cut. So, other than that, things seem to be going pretty good. Don't see any issues. Talk to, have discussions with the on a part-time person with the shop steward and the business agent. They're going to put something together. They'll be back to me probably within the next couple of weeks. So we'll have something.
In terms of, as opposed to part-time as opposed to per diem?
Per diem's out of the question.
They don't allow it at all?
No. And the part-time, they're not up for it at all. He's going to send us a proposal as far as doing something different, like a hybrid type person.
Okay.
So should have that, well, should have it by, I'll say, the end of next week. So.
And I've seen Brian. I've talked to Brian a couple times.
Yeah, I mean, that would be probably ideal if we can share someone, just whether or not we can work out the logistics of it, you know.
But, the
way
good
things
thing
go
is we're
in the time-
closed Wednesdays, Thursdays. So if they needed somebody, Wednesday, Thursday would be
Their day.
a good, yeah, their days, but then when would we need this person would be,
Right.
do we need them on a Saturday? We definitely don't need them on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
Tuesday's slow.
But it depends. It's, you know, there's the talk of conflicting time off, vacation time, and that sort of thing. Well, that's discussed with the union.
We'll have to discuss them at the same time next year still.
But
I'm not saying I got high hopes. And I'm glad that Brian, I know, is available during the week, that his wife won't let him work the weekends. Are we getting an alert? Because you're, no, it's Brian. I don't know why he's calling me.
what is that?
That's my phone. I'll have to call him back. Usually it doesn't make that much noise unless because it's on like that. But I thought hers was going off at the same time. Yeah, so at least we have him right now, that we know during the week he can help out, and he may or may not be able to do potentially some weekend stuff. It depends, because his wife is not making any plans to go anywhere on the weekends. So,
Alright,
he may be able, every now and then, to cover Saturday.
I don't believe, there's nothing on, we haven't heard any issues down at Kiwanee or anything, have we?
No.
As far as just follow up other things?
No.
Okay.
No.
Gil, if you wanna just give us your agent's report, just
Yeah,
let us know
you know,
what's kinda
things-
happening.
Just things are going pretty good. Catch on with these. There's one of the things that gotten a couple calls on. At some point in time, I thought there was going to be someone coming before us. I got two people complaining about the amount of stuff that's left on the side of the road due to the fact that curbside pickup people will not take them. There's a couple of areas that people decorated to go down certain areas, end up on ponds that there's a bureau on the side of the road, and it's being decorated, and it's just off 58. There's a couch that's been sitting out for a couple months. I never even spotted it on Route 58. It was gone as of today. You'll see the couches, they're all over the place. Not saying all. There's numerous of couches sitting on the side of the road. They sit there. These people feel it's the board house position to do something about it. As well know. If you want to start.
Do we have a bylaw against it?
Well, I mean, if it's creating a nuisance.
Yeah, nuisance, but it is
I
becoming.
know somebody on Mount Pleasant Street that had a couch in his yard for a good year. I don't know how it finally disappeared, but it was there forever.
County Road, we had a recliner that was there a good year and a half. You know, the guy just
Yeah.
wouldn't do it. So it's becoming a nuisance in other a problem in other towns too, because you know, they say they'll pick up a bulkhead once a month, but they don't.
No, they don't. They haven't.
Last
No,
one?
they have not said. Previous to COVID, they would pick up one item. Once COVID started, that stopped like 3 years ago.
For
The private
private
companies
haulers?
to pick it.
Yeah,
They don't pick up anything if it's not inside the barrel anymore. And that
So-
was when COVID started.
So I've told the woman, you know, you got to start a dialogue because
the reports.
you know we don't really regulate that. I mean, you can call it if it, you know, attracts rodents and stuff like that. Yes, you know, respond to it, but we don't actually have anything on the books that say people can't leave stuff out in front of the house. So and that's something I think we're going to have to address. It seems to be getting worse and worse.
Especially, you would think especially on main routes. 58's a main route. And with winter coming, you don't want the plows running into couches. And
this
before, the
this
highway department picked them up, but now it's like
This is more of an issue like people leaving it out there thinking someone's gonna take it and then it just sits there.
That
Yes.
too. That too.
Yep.
There's a lot of that stuff going on too.
Wasn't it Brook Street where they had an area where people were dropping stuff?
Yes.
And people were complaining that it became the neighborhood, you don't want something and it's junk and you don't want to pay to get rid of it, drop it here.
Thank you.
So the
Thank
first
you.
place they call is the Board of Health, so. And, you know, the septic system going on pretty good. I had something else, you know, the DEP stuff, there's a lot of changes happening with DEP, you know, Title V nitrogen loading stuff. There's some revisions coming out, and theoretically, we're not in that zone that they're working on right now. We're not through the zone that they're talking about as far as nitrogen reduction. It'll come our way probably the next year. But it's definitely in that area south of, we're part of the Taunton River watershed, but probably like 5 miles south of, into the Taunton River watershed, so that'll be heading our way. And the well regulation stuff, they're still trying to push that stuff, you know, tracking that. And it seems like they're, you know, DEP is becoming mobile, so a lot of stuff they do, they're passing on to the local boards and stuff, which a couple of these things the local boards, you know, technically should be handling. Contacted Clearwater Steve Nelson, who does a lot of the IA systems in town, get an inventory of his systems and the contracts that he has, and trying to catalog that, because we really do get called on some of the IA systems and tracking them, and we've got a good start on that. So, you know, going on further, the fireworks site, you know, we had a meeting with the EPA, hope in the next month or two we get some more information from the EPA on, you know, if there's anything to the town. and creating a committee type thing. They're looking for committee type people to participate in what the town wants to do and what's going to take place. So that's going to be pretty interesting when that does happen, because it's definitely going to take place. Like they say, it'll be a year before it gets actually on the list, but there'll be a lot of talking in between that with the town. So hopefully get a group of people together and work on that site. We have another potential for a couple other sites taking place, but that's most of it in a nutshell. So.
All right.
If anybody on the board wants to be part of this, part of the stuff with the EPA, I mean, welcome aboard, because they believe in a lot of participation from not only the town board, but from the citizens of the town. And the regular projects, going forward, Ridge projects going forward, Cushing Trails, it is moving forward. There's some issues with it, but we've talked to trying to get a hold of the review engineer again on that. There's a couple issues that partially pertain to the Board of Health, but mostly planning has some concerns. So we're trying to meet with him. Hopefully get him by the end of next week back confirmed. We had met with him before also. So. Short septic systems, landscape, that's all done. The landscape, the first cut on the grass was done, so it looks like all the elevations are right. The system is supposed to shed the water to the sides. No water is supposed to be sitting on that septic system. Depot Village is the same type of system. The water has to shed to the side of that. There's a couple issues there. We'll be contacting Dakota Partners on that, because the systems have to shed the water to the side. So. That's probably about it.
On your reports, Teresa, can you pull his reports out?
Sure.
Some of the stuff there's still, I can't figure out what it is. You've got names in there, but I don't know.
What are we looking for?
Like one, it said Lopes, and I don't know what that meant. Is that the name of the house? Is that the person putting it in?
The contractor, Lopes, 66 High Street.
But it didn't have the address, it just says Lopes, I think, I don't know. But there's just, sometimes it's hard to figure out. I meant to pull them aside, and I should have. You pass them down and then I'll tell you what I'm talking about.
Should say the name, the address, and...
What A.E. Wood, was he removing and replacing what? It just says 7th Thayer Drive, A.E. Wood, remove and replace.
Remove, replace, yeah, that's the remove, replace inspection, when they dig out the system.
Okay.
That's the remove, replace inspection.
I don't know what this says. I think that says construction, but I don't know what that says.
6 Upston Street,
View?
renovation, construction.
Yeah, review, renovation, construction.
Okay, I could not read what that was
So.
It's we're getting there, Gil. It's getting better.
A little more information is helpful, because I kind of have to guess what it is. You know what you're thinking.
It's better. It's more thorough than how we started out. Just keep going. Just keep improving on it.
Yeah, just ask.
Yeah.
Ask the question.
State Street Septic. Okay, so Cranberry Deli.
Cranberry Deli is now.
I knew he was closing because I knew he was looking to get out of it.
He's out of it now.
And
So that's shut down now, and he's concentrating his time on rebuilding the Two Gals Farm, a restaurant there.
Oh, he was the one that bought that?
Yeah, he's a niece for her.
Okay.
And he's got a lot of work he's going to do there. Probably won't open for another month.
All right.
So
I knew that he had
They
been
haven't
looking.
done any paperwork or submitted, they haven't done anything.
I knew he was looking to get rid of that
I didn't
store.
know Cranberry definitely closed, because I will vote for permit.
yeah, no, he's closed.
Okay.
I want to say the
You told me you were going
13th.
over there, you didn't,
Oh,
Somewhere along in here, I thought I saw the 13th. He was completely closed.
yeah, probably. Yeah, I wrote it down.
One of these, I did see the 13th. He was
Yeah.
completely closed.
So.
bad ideas. Okay. Renovation and permit for former two girls, renovation and permit.
2 gals.
That's the one that we were just talking about, right? That he's gonna buy.
Yeah. There's a lot more damage in that building than he thought when he first was gonna take it over.
Oh, I didn't realize it was gonna be damage. Anyway. That I could understand. That I got. Whitman Street, St. George, and then 66 High Street.
66 High Street, that's Lopes.
But what does that mean?
Maybe just on like these go, like I know just because I'm familiar with kind of being in the trades, just who some of these guys are, like these are installers. Maybe just put on their installer dash, or
right, because I don't know if Lopes is a homeowner,
yeah,
or somebody working on the property.
Yeah, just a little more detail in that aspect, just put
So what were you doing there that day? Was it a beginning or bottom of the hole?
What's it say there?
It doesn't. It just says 66 High Street, Lopes.
Yeah, it just says the address and the installer.
Yeah, this I don't know if that and that have anything to do with each
I
other.
probably remember that day for some reason, But yeah, I checked it in the morning before we got there. I'll do that times before the installers get to the job site. I'll drive there before they get there.
But this particular one gives 3 addresses, and then it doesn't kind of say what they do, and then the next one is just High Street Lopes.
Yeah, so I reviewed that rather than being there. I'll go before or after.
So you're talking in the beginning, or is this toward the end of the install? You're talking about
in between. Sometimes I'll go there in the morning before they get there, just to see how they're doing.
Okay.
So if
all
there's
right.
a dig out,
so you might have.
If there's a dig out, if there's not half of it, I'll go check it to make sure that
All right. So
yeah, there's 4 or 5 inspections for most systems, I believe, right?
Pump system, all 6.
Well, pump system
Right.
or treatment's more, but I mean, a standard
Right.
system is like 4 or 5 inspections.
Yeah.
So even if it just said what you were doing, you were just reviewing work up to date or whatever, this just doesn't tell me. It just says High Street.
Yeah, 66.
It could be housing. It could be anything.
Just 66 High Street, septic repair underway.
Right.
Met with installer.
Something.
Joe Ball.
Just like 66 High Street there, that's a Caltech contactor system. So that's got the manifolds, it's got the venting manifold, so if I start explaining that to you, you'll be totally lost.
But this doesn't tell me, was it a housing inspection?
Yeah.
I don't know that it was a septic. You could, even if you put septic inspection there, then I would know that, but I don't know if it's not a housing complaint.
Yeah.
Or a trash complaint.
It could be a couch.
It could be a couch.
It
could be a couch.
It's coming our way. It's coming our way.
So how do we, I don't know how we enforce telling people to stop doing that, or.
Like I say.
We can't tell them that the highway department's gonna pick stuff up because they can't.
Look at the amount of kids' toys on the side of the road.
Thank you.
I don't,
They're everywhere.
Well, I think
can we recommend that they use the buy nothing, sell nothing sites? If they wanna get rid of something, that is the best thing to do.
Well, I mean, especially if it's in the right of way of the street.
Right.
It's on the edge of the road. I mean, technically, it's in the right of way. I mean.
Then you don't know who put it
They're
there.
abandoning it or whatever. I mean, right, I agree, but just because it's in front of someone's house doesn't.
It doesn't mean
necessarily
it's that
mean
person.
They put it out.
Oh, I can imagine, I wouldn't put something in front of my house.
Right. But you don't want to turn it into a situation where everyone goes, oh, we can just throw it out front because the highway department will come pick it up.
Well, that's what I said, that's why we don't want to, but I'm wondering if we put something out saying that there's been an increase of items being abandoned on the side of the road.
Maybe on the board, not the electronic sign that we have. Something like that, or a
we
notice.
could put it on our Facebook, we could put it on cable. Please
Just
try.
ask people to stop doing it.
Well, no, ask them to try to do it buy sell. If you don't need it, use one of the buy nothing, sell nothing.
That's
sites
why I told the
to
woman.
give it away.
Told the woman, come in and speak to the board, so it gets.
Who?
This woman that wanted, come into the board and speak about it.
Oh.
Come in and speak about it, because me and explain it to the board, it's not gonna do anything. People are gonna come in and talk
Was
about
she
it.
complaining about stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's the couch on, Route 58.
Oh, because you can
I
just
know,
say to
it's fine.
people, there are people that will pick that up, or maybe you could donate it to someone. I know that Big Brother and Big Sister, none of them take furniture anymore, but if somebody needed it, maybe they'd come pick it up. So that's why the buy nothing, sell nothing is perfect. You reach out to people, and if they want it, and make arrangements, they come get it. I can work on something.
There's something else.
And post to tell people to knock it off.
Yeah, something more of a request, but also
Just
information
reminding
to
people,
give them,
right,
give
yes.
them some options so they don't think that that's the only option they have.
That, is just dumping it, because that seems to be the easiest thing. Because you still had to get it in your car and drive around with it to dump it in somebody else's yard.
Okay, that's about all I got. So.
That's all you got? And I wanted to say that I got sworn in for the committee, for the transfer station committee, but one of the members isn't going to be available probably till the end of this month, early November. I've tried reaching out to Joe a couple of times so that as the vice chair, he and I could at least get together and then maybe reorganize. So we would have a chair?
No, he was the clerk because he was supposed to be doing the minutes and he never did.
Okay.
Well, if he did, I have yet to see minutes for any meeting.
I'll ask. I'm sure I'll see him tonight.
I know
Because
Melissa.
he never responds to
Yeah, Melissa had mentioned that he was responsible for
minutes.
the minutes, and she asked him several times and to send
I
them
don't
to
know
me.
who the
and
vice chair was.
Kevin, that
Hold on.
Donovan guy, wasn't it?
No. Hold
What's
on.
his name? The guy that's in there.
Hold
on.
a minute.
I'm trying to think.
Hold on a minute.
I always want to call Mike Bill, but it's Mike from
Finance.
Finance was on it. And there was another guy that sat in, but I don't know if he was actually on it. And then Eric sometimes came, and there was a presentation that was supposed to be done by Todd, but nobody showed up that night.
I have
So
recordings of a couple of the minutes. of
Okay.
the meetings. I'll have
you
to
could
look.
send me those? Or I can find them. Where are they?
On
Are
the-
they posted on Whitman Hanson or no?
I don't remember.
Okay.
They might be, but I don't remember.
I can at least
It's
look.
because it's
my-
been a while ago.
To my knowledge, that whole study that Todd did for them,
Yes.
I heard that, to my knowledge, that the person on the finance committee had that presentation.
He didn't do it that night. As far as I know, Todd did not do it that night.
I
can ask Todd because I've talked to him
because
since then.
he
You're
did.
talking about Mike Duggan.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm sure
Because-
they might have had a conversation about it, but I don't think they never officially had the meeting because people didn't show up for it. They only had one person or whatever it was, whoever was supposed to show up didn't. So the meeting was never called to order. So I don't know if Todd informally talked to them, and you might not have a recording for that meeting, because it sounded like they never opened the meeting.
Was Melissa there?
Melissa was supposed to be there, but I think she wasn't.
Oh.
And so she would have been the chair.
Mhm.
I don't know who else was on
I
that committee.
suggest you talk to Todd about it because Todd and Claire put a lot into that.
Todd told me he did. He
The,
put a lot
the
in.
three members of the board were Melissa, the guy Mike Dugan from Finance,
That's him, yeah, Mike.
and Joe Weeks were the three
So
members.
maybe Mike was the vice.
Yes, Mike was the vice, and Joe Weeks was the
Is the
clerk,
clerk.
and he was responsible for the minutes.
All right. So, and Mike is probably not going to be available until early November. So we may not be able to meet until then. But in the meantime, I'll listen to the minutes or listen to and see what Joe's up to. Because I called him a couple times, reached out to him, texted him, and said, do we want to have a meeting? Do we want to wait until Mike can join us? And then he just never responds. So, but I think he'll be at the meeting tonight. So I'll track him down. So that's all I know about that. But I did have to go. I didn't realize I had to go down and be sworn in. And I never got a letter saying that I had been appointed. So I had to get a letter generated, which I then took to the clerk and got sworn in. So once we can gather all the people up, then we'll meet and I'll have do the presentation, which is, I guess it's the cost between one versus the other.
Well, I guess there was three altogether.
Oh, 3 different cost things?
Yeah.
Or proposals?
Yeah, the hybrid. The
Oh, I didn't hear
curbside-
anything about a hybrid.
The hybrid, the curbside, and the transfer station, operating the transfer station.
Okay.
Is what Todd told me.
Okay.
Because I was never privy to this information because,
Well, he never presented it to the group.
I thought he said he did, but I don't know.
No, because he
Todd-
told me there was
Yeah.
confusion when he jumped on the call. It was never a confirmed meeting. Yeah, I think it was right around the time that Melissa resigned, and so nobody knew what was going on, and then somebody else was missing. So I'll see if we can do something beginning of November. And that's all I have.
I don't have anything further.
I have one other question. So what happened with, I saw the letter about Mr. Mangiello, whatever his name is. So he finally got served. It looks like they tried to serve him 2 other times by mailing. So then did they physically track him down yesterday?
Was it yesterday?
Yeah, that's what, Charlie Barron's.
Yesterday, right?
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
yesterday.
they finally tracked him down yesterday.
So he has 7 days, and is it 7 business days or 7 calendar days
Well,
to respond?
they're probably going to, which I don't know if, was it court today?
Tomorrow.
Okay, there's supposed to be action tomorrow. We haven't received any information on it as of yet. So,
Okay, and I only read part of it. So did they take and compile all the complaints into that letter? No, that letter couldn't have been, that was August.
couldn't.
That was just the beginning when you guys first did the inspection.
no, that's when I first got involved. I got involved halfway through this. And, that's why it's all these stuff, not part of that first section of it. I get involved halfway through this whole thing.
So that letter that you sent in August was after an inspection, was it you and the building inspector did?
No, we all did it.
You all did it together?
Yeah, that's it.
So
That's
what was the
last time.
what was the recent letter that you did that had to go to the attorney? Was that for the court case? Was that part of the complaint for the court?
No, that's another section, because the first complaint is what those guys did in the beginning. That's the complaint.
Was
My
the
action was after that.
so what the letter that went out to him that he got served with yesterday, is that the original letter from August 7th, or is it something different?
Different.
Okay. And the one that they took to court was something different.
Yeah. We don't know yet. I don't know how the attorney's going to present it, so we won't know until tomorrow.
But the letter that you did wasn't going to be part of the complaint because you didn't give it to them in time.
No, it was part of the complaint because I wasn't there for that. If you look at that, the original inspections, I was not
I haven't
there.
seen no, not the original inspections. The letter a couple weeks ago,
Right.
all the information was due for them to put together the complaint to go to court. And each department had to do a letter. And
Mine was separate of all that stuff because I was not there.
okay, but it still didn't get in time for the court.
It probably was going to be submitted at that time.
You guys don't know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking
I'm not
about.
involved in it.
Oh,
so I can't say.
well, you know what I'm talking about. You
To
got
a
the
certain-
email.
To a certain extent, I mean, I did, yeah.
So each different part, week to week they talk about it at their meetings.
Mhm.
And they all were supposed to put together their section of the complaint
Yep.
to go to court.
Right.
And they had a deadline to say it was due by October 10th. So planning had theirs in. Who's the other group?
Yeah,
The
fire,
building had theirs
building,
in.
zoning.
Everybody had
Basically,
everything
they
in.
wanted, hey, what are the violations
Yes.
in your department?
Yes.
What are the violations in your
Yes.
department? And everyone prepared one basically on behalf of their own department.
Yes.
Yep.
Ours was the only one that didn't get in on time to be placed as part of the
Well,
file with the
The
complaint.
attorney, it was in the attorney's office in draft, and I had it in draft. And what we did that day, when he said he wanted to have it, we sent it all out, sent it to the sheriff's department and everything, and everything was done that day.
But it was after the deadline.
But I would think it would be able to be added to the amended complaint.
He said it might go into the summary, but it wasn't part of the active complaint because the information wasn't received by the deadline that it needed to be received to be included for when the when they were putting it all together to go to court. So we'll see what happens tomorrow and how much of it gets into the complaint.
Yeah, we don't know how much is gonna be part of it.
We don't, but it's really important to pay attention to deadlines.
It was paid attention to. It was in draft, because I was the attorney on another court case. And it did not come up as far as the deadline of mine, because mine was not part of the original.
Okay, my understanding is that each week in your department heads meetings, there was discussions about it, and everybody was given a deadline, a date that they knew that the information had to be in.
The discussions was different than what took place, so.
All right, just please in the future, stay on top of deadlines,
That's
so
what I
that this
said.
kind of stuff doesn't happen, and then there might have been things that we needed to include in that complaint that didn't get included.
My discussion with our advisory attorney, I did not see the beginning part of it. I was brought in at the last minute on this, so I could not be part of the original complaint. I wasn't there, the original stuff.
So you guys didn't talk about it on your regular department head meetings on a weekly basis?
I got involved in this halfway through this. And then when we started the meetings on Mondays, that's when I got involved, and they had already started sending the stuff out.
But that was before the deadline, though. That was well before the deadline.
No, it wasn't really a deadline, but yeah.
Okay, I'm just saying, please make sure that that stuff is in, so that it gets included, so that we know
The
that
way
those
it
complaints.
was explained and how the complaint was gonna go was a little bit more complicated than, you know.
Yeah, so it sounds like it was some sort of miscommunication.
Yeah. We'll see how that goes. I can't believe he dodged for all that time.
Well, he
You
didn't.
can only hide for so long.
He didn't dodge at all.
We would have found him, Teresa, right?
Yeah, right.
I'm gonna make a motion that we
We get
adjourn.
that.
All right, I'll second that motion. All in favor? Aye.
5:31.
Meeting adjourned at 5:31.